What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. The next area that I'm going to actually work on is the back bumper. The Mustang embossed logo is going to go shaved, so that's what we're going to do in this video. It's probably going to be probably half day today, half day tomorrow, because you got to prep it all out, fill it with the plastic repair resin, let that dry overnight, and then you can do your body work and things over the top. I'm going to try to include everything in the description below for all the products that I used to actually do this. But first thing, we have to remove the rear cover. It's pretty straightforward. There's just studs on the bumper with nuts inside the car. You're going to have two on each side in the quarter panel, and then they run along the back, and you got a couple screws on the lips of the front of the rear bumper. Alright, so we got the speaker boxes out of the trunk. I went in my toolbox to go grab my trim tools, and I thought I might mention this while they're in my hand. Buy yourself a nice set of trim tools. If you're going to be working on your own car, taking it apart, these are gold. These will save you so much time and money, breaking tabs off of interior panels and things like that. And this one right here, this is my favorite one. It just slides up in between the panels or on top of a clip, and you squeeze it, and it will remove the push pin inside the center. And this is by far, this is the one I use the most out of all of them. Alright, so we got the bumper off the car. Came off without a hitch. I didn't break any fasteners or anything, so I'm happy about that. I did have some vinyl in here in the Mustang logo, so I had to pull that off. It's always a good idea if you're going to be refinishing a car or anything like that, doing body work. Just hit it with some wax and grease remover. I got a little bit of glue residue in here. That'll clean all that out, so when I go to actually grind into this to expose the raw plastic so I can actually fill, I won't have any issues with adhesion or anything like that. So how you use a wax and grease remover is you wet a rag with it, wipe it on, and wipe it off with the clean rag. Alright, so you're probably asking, what am I using to actually fill the letters in? I have this stuff. I used it one other time before and it worked out great. It's made by SEM. It's a problem plastic repair material. You can fill with this stuff, you can repair tabs, things like that. I'll put a link in the description below so you can pick that up. It does harden pretty fast. It's got only a 5-minute working time. So I'm probably going to prep all the letters and then probably only mix up a little at a time and only fill maybe half the letters, and then mix up a new batch and then fill the rest. Before we do any of that, we got to actually prep the surface. So I have got an angle grinder here, some 36 grit. Go in and remove all the paint from inside those letters, expose the raw plastic, and very slightly bevel out all the letters, all the edges of the letters into the surrounding paint. So as I'm grinding into this, I'm noticing if I have the grinder going too fast, I'm actually melting it and smearing it, which I don't want. So I'm using the grinder really slow and cutting it to the point where it's raw plastic and it feels smooth. Alright, so we hit all the letters with 36 grit. Removed all the paint just until we hit the plastic. I tried not to go too deep. I don't want to thin out the bumper. But I'm pretty happy with that. You just got to be real careful so you don't burn through the whole bumper. It does have a couple little burrs on it and things like that. I'm probably going to grab maybe some 80 grit with my hand and just go over it all and kind of clean up some of these edges just in case some of that plastic filler is on the edge, so you can sand it and it'll actually feather into the old bumper. Alright, so I went over all the inside of the letters with some 80 grit by hand, kind of getting rid of all the plastic spurs and things like that. I got it pretty smooth. Now I'm actually working the whole area here. I got some 80 grit on a DA. I'm going to hold it flat and I'm going to work maybe an inch and a half around the whole filled area. This will kind of scuff the paint up around it and feather it out really nice along the edge of the letters here. Alright, this is what you want it to look like. We blew it off. I gave it a quick wipe off with the wax and grease remover. I'm going to move on to, I have a plastic prep aerosol. You spray it on, wipe it off. Then I'm going to mix up a small batch of my plastic repair, and I'm only going to work a few letters at a time because it's really hot, and I don't think it's going to dry up on me a little fast. So. Alright, I got a little amount of this product mixed up. It's a 50-50 mix. Alright, that should do it. Let's get a letter or two done. Alright, it's about 90 degrees out and this stuff is drying a lot faster. It said 5-minute work time. I probably had 2 minutes of work time with it. You put it on just like a regular polyester body filler. Just kind of use a spreader, put it in there nice and tight. Don't try to get all the air bubbles out. Alright, so the way this stuff actually works is it's two separate cylinders, and you're supposed to actually have a special kind of mixing gun that dispenses equal amount and through a mixing tip. You don't really need that. You could just push equal amounts out with like a screwdriver or something like that onto a piece of cardboard or something. This stuff gets mixed up until it's one even color. And then once it's mixed, you only have a couple minutes to work with it, so you gotta work fast. I don't use this stuff an awful lot, so I don't have one of those mixing guns, but there we go, nice even color. So now we'll do the last two letters. And that's about it for the SEM Plastic Repair. You can see it right here, how it laid down. You can still see the letters through it, but it's all a little bit high. So when this stuff's all dried up and I go over it with like 80 grit with a DA, just keep working it down to you can just basically see it filled in the letters. Then you're good to go. You can prep a little farther out and then you can go on with your regular polyester filler, just a very skim coat just to smoothen it all out. You don't want to actually fill with that. So I'm going to let this stuff dry and start cleaning up a little bit. Alright, I think that's going to do it for the day. I'm going to let this stuff dry up really well, let it shrink, let it harden up, and I'll probably hit it tomorrow. But for right now, I'm done. It is hot. Been at it a couple hours. And that's about it. Alright, so if you like the video, subscribe. Again, in the description, I have links to all the products that I used today, and stick around for part 2. We'll finish up the rear bumper on the car. All right, thanks. See you next time.